comic canon this week, we got Star Wars issue number 42, dealing with the aftermath of Jedha after that terrible, tragic, random mining accident. You remember the one. Oh, and we also got 2 other comics this week that aren't really as important as the Star Wars issue number 42. One of them was Star Wars Adventures number 6. But the main story is how Rose is super awesome and men are trying to put her down, but in the end, she saves Poe's life. So the gist of it is Rose is shy, likes to read, better than everyone else that has many decades of experience on her. Not sure I need to say anything else on that. We also got a Forces of Destiny story on Hera where she and Chopper go to Fecunda and help them get rid of the Empire who is working them to death for their food supply. After she manages to do that, they give her, / the Rebellion, spare food and hope she'll come back for more soon. Okay, so let's talk about Star Wars issue number 42, which I think has the most important canon information of the week. There are The Last Jedi spoilers in this video, but it's been out for a month, so if you haven't seen it, you probably just don't give a shit. Probably.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
If you're not up to date or forgot what was going on in this current storyline, here's a refresher. This series is set between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. Luke, Leia, Chewie, and Han have gone to where the partisan base is to try to work with them to take down the Empire. And we know how friendly the partisans were. Unfortunately, the Empire has also come to Jedha to collect the remaining Kyber crystals. The rebels join up with the partisans, despite them wanting to kill the rebels at first, and discover Benthic survived the events of Rogue One. Together, they try to destroy the Empire's orbital drill that threatens to endanger the lives and homes of the struggling civilians who are on a dying planet as it is, and the remains of the moon that's not doing so well either. Oh, and Queen Trios is there from the Darth Vader series, which is one of the best parts of this particular storyline. Meanwhile, Chewbacca has just returned from his secret mission for the Rebellion. The information he has found will be of great assistance, but it may have come with a great cost. The comic opens with the rebels and partisans discussing the orbital drill armed like a fortress with the population of a small city, and how they'd need a Star Destroyer to even dent it. Luckily, Chewie brought them the plans to it, and Leia reveals they need a small team, including an astromech to slice in, and a protocol droid to handle the weird show-to-run courtly customs. Once aboard, and with the astromech, they can then depower the drill's anti-air weapons and seal off the bridge. C-3PO, bless his heart, says aloud, "Oh, I feel sorry for the unfortunates who have to do that. Wait, there's no other protocol droid. They mean me!" I just feel so bad for C-3PO. Can you imagine being enslaved by terrorists, being forced to do things that you just aren't comfortable with? Leia continues that once they have that part done, they'll need a second larger team, and then they will take control and drive the drill into the hole the Empire, according to the rebels, created. Leia, Luke, and the droids are in Team 1, while Two Tubes, Han, and the partisans form Team 2. Can I take a minute or so to ask, what the fuck happened to Han's face in this panel? This issue in general, just why? The tracing in the series lately is just plain awful.
No expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow.
If you're gonna trace right from the movies, how about not making Luke look like he's missing a chunk of his face? I mean, you're already half-assing the art, so why would you care? Anyways, Luke and Yubin talk, with Luke still sad that he had to kill the Pilgrim. And I love that Luke foreshadowing during this. In referring to the man he had to kill and being told he was a good man, Luke replied, "He was. But it's easy to stop being a good man, Yubin. That's what happens. We lose track of ourselves. What matters?" You could argue that Luke lost track of what mattered, his nephew, when he contemplated for a moment killing the boy to preserve everything he had achieved. You could also say that Anakin was a good man that was turned evil, but Anakin was always a twisted fuck.
Now this is pod racing.
No, this isn't pod racing.
But I think Luke is referring to how he was willing to abandon the rebellion, a few times now, to learn about the Jedi and to go after his own selfish desires. After his brush with the dark side and understanding how corrupting it can be, he understands how easy it would be to stop being a good person. Luke also talked about Jyn Erso and Rogue One in this issue. Fitting, as they are dealing with Jedha, where the Rogue One team spent some time, and also since that whole event happened less than a year ago at this point. So I'd expect references to them. Luke states he's glad he didn't know about all the sacrifices that were made leading up to him taking the shot that destroyed the Death Star, believing the extra pressure could have ruined everything. That he may not have turned off the targeting computer, something everyone considered a crazy decision, knowing how many people had to die to give him that moment. But Luke is reassured that all those people that died to put Luke in that place to have that shot didn't know he'd be there. They only hoped someone would. They trusted someone to finish it after they were gone. Leia, the little eavesdropper, agrees with the woman, saying she thinks of the profundity when Vader boarded. The rebels faced him in the dark, using their bodies to slow him down so that the Death Star plans could get to the necessary people. They could have ran, but they didn't. Leia believes that they are now the ones in the dark, and that they can't flinch because one flinch could change everything. If one person had flinched before the Battle of Yavin when getting those plans to Leia, the Death Star would still be there. So Leia and Luke sneak aboard the orbital drill with C-3PO and R2-D2 with ease, as it's mostly being run by droids who don't really care as long as you have the right codes. While sneaking around, Leia asks if this was what it was like creeping aboard the Death Star, which Luke gives the cutest reply ever. No, it's different. Then there was a really rude princess who discovered the worst smelling room in the galaxy. I will give the writers some major credit here. Any scenes between Luke and Leia are really good. Leia wants to go with Luke to the bridge, stating he's about to do something nightmarishly scary, but Luke says she needs to guard the droids and that she is more important to the rebellion than he is. Which, I get the reasoning, but Luke, you blew up the Death Star. You took a shot that no one else could have made. You have Force abilities. You're pretty important too. Maybe the rebellion wouldn't have gotten as far, or may have fallen apart without Leia, but don't short yourself. However, I like that they're both coming to the conclusion that they're both important to the rebellion, and that Leia needs to train more leaders or give people more control, that there are people just as valuable as her. On the orbital bridge, Trios and Commander Kanchan are still hanging out, and I still hope they either hook up or she betrays him. The commander is informed that they were able to get to the partisan base, and that it looks like they're preparing for a raid. The commander wants them to be taken out and asks the Queen her thoughts. Trios agrees with the commander. Kill them all has a certain ring to it. Seriously, they could be a new sexy evil couple. I want it. Especially since I'm pretty sure we're not getting Kylo and his kinky dark side bitch in episode 9 because Disney doesn't love us. Troopers ambush the rebels and partisans at the base, and Han is forced to flee quickly in the Falcon with an injured Chewie and newly shot Benthic, who is in pretty rough condition. On board the Falcon, Chewie tries to give Han a heart-to-heart about how he is a leader, but Han dismisses that. However, when Yubin talks about doing a suicide mission, Han tells her, yeah, we're not doing that. The partisans try to dismiss him, saying he's just the pilot, when he corrects them. No, I'm the captain. I just love Han stepping up to the leadership role. Han goes back to Chewie to tell him what he did, and Chewie hugs him, totally embarrassing Han. Gotta love sappy Wookiees. Back on the orbital bridge, Luke just straight up murders a guy and then goes, I'm sorry. Are you, Luke? Are you? He tells them they can't shoot his friends, but it's cool if he shoots their friends. As Luke and Kanchan prepare to fight, Trios finds Leia and points a blaster at her. From previews of the next issue, it looks like those two are going to get into a pretty nasty fight. Though I hope they talk just a little. Those two women have a lot in common. Royalty, the Empire fucked their planets, and they're both super ruthless. Maybe Leia convinces her to become a terrorist just like her. I'm gonna be really sad if this ends with Trios dead. I really want her to either be turned or continue to pop up as Vader and the Empire's dog. So personally, I enjoy the story due to their focus on Jedha and the ties to Rogue One. The art is still absolutely awful, which is a shame because it used to be so fantastic, but I feel like the story makes up for it. If you haven't read the previous issues, we've also seen Luke touch the dark side and see what happens to someone when they're corrupted by it. And I'm actually convinced he used the Force side or channeled it for the first time a few issues ago when he got really pissed off. By far the best moment of this series, the Han and Chewie hug. Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos. You're a really important part of the rebellion. Yeah, Leia's probably maybe a smidgen more important than you, and the rebellion may have fallen apart. Oops.